friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge. I've got something to show you today. This is a little knife. It's made by Civivi, O-step held design, and I know you can't see that from here. So let's get to the tabletop and take a good close look at this tiny little fixed blade knife. All right, here she is. This is how it comes. You get this a light little chain. It's like a, light switch chain, much smaller though, the same style. Kydex sheath, and the knife, and a lanyard. And as most Civivis do, it comes in a Civivi pouch. So you get that as well. And of course, all the accoutrements that are normal with a Civivi pouch. Some stickers, some promotional materials, and everything comes in different bags. This bag I had to cut open. That was the chain, I think, and the knife, and the blade even had a little bit of a tip protector on it. So put all that aside. The knife. The size of this knife, well, here's a quarter. Canadian quarters are the same size as American quarters, so if you're in the United States or Canada, there you go. But let's go over the measurements anyway, because you're curious. We'll try to be quick. I didn't put it into ounces. The weight of the knife by itself is 5 grams. The lanyard's another gram, so 6 grams for this whole thing. 5 grams if you don't use the lanyard. And the total weight of everything, not counting the quarter, that's 12 grams, whatever that is in ounces up there. So yeah, this is a very light thing to wear. Hang it around your neck. That's how I carried it. You could just drop it into your pocket. Even without the lanyard, just have that in your pocket. It's not going to come out. It holds it nice and snug. It's not going to accidentally, well, chances are very, very low that it's going to accidentally come out of your pocket if you have it like this. And yeah, so that's that. The cutting edge length, it is 25.6 millimeters. That's 1.008 inches. So a 1-inch cutting edge. The blade length, that's the entire knife, the whole steel component, 58.9 millimeters, 2.32 inches, so 2 1/3 inches for the whole thing. The thickness of the blade stock and the handle, everything, because it's all just the same metal, 1.67 millimeters, 65.5 thousandths of an inch thin. Yeah, that's, less than a 1/16 of an inch thick. The blade depth, the widest part of the cutting edge this way, 11.4 millimeters, 0.45 of an inch. The thickness behind the grind, 41 millimeters, 16 thousandths. Sharpness from the factory, I got a score of 200 best. The total length, I already did that. Oh, if you're curious about how big that hole is, 8.9 millimeters, 0.35 of an inch, so 1/3 of an inch, roughly. How much does this thing cost? I'll quickly go over some countries. The United States, $25.50 most stores. White Mountain Knives, you can save 10% with code CCE. That makes it $22.95. That's around $33 Canadian. In Canada, the cheapest place I found was Blades Canada, $38.99. I think they're out of the satin version, only have the black one. House of Knives has them for $40.99. In Europe, knife.de, KNYF.de had the best price I saw, €28.99. Knivesandtools.co.uk for the £25.99. Australia, Adventure Carry has it for 48 Australian dollars. In Australia, everybody had out of stock that I found. So that's roughly what that is. What is this knife good for? Well, it's good for very, very light EDC. Now, I most commonly used it for package opening. Let's see, I got a receipt here. Let's see how sharp it is at the end of my testing. Still cuts really well, and I'm just doing a push cut. A slicing cut, slicing cut, even better. Light paper, of course, can be tricky to cut. And let's try some of this heavier paper. That's 24 pound. And let's get it to focus on the edge here. You can see that paper's pretty cleanly cut. Packages, well, this down, and very easily cuts through tape. Does it cut through cardboard? It's a little harder to hold to cut through cardboard, but it can cut through cardboard. Well, I was off camera. There you go. I cut that corner off. It's just hard to hold because it's so thin, and to pinch it. So it's not really for cutting cardboard. Let's see if I can get this under the camera somehow. It's a little awkward. Let's try it right here. And you've got some jimping on the top here. Oh, I didn't go all the way through. But the part that I did go through, just this tape I didn't go through, but I went through the cardboard. There you go. That's a clean cut through cardboard, although cardboard's a little bit heavy for this knife. Not for the edge, because it's 14C28N. It's just heavy because it's such a tiny little thing. So let's go over what it looks like. Yeah, we've got that fine jimping up there. We've got, yeah, let's call it a sheep's foot, because Civivi calls it a sheep's foot. Some people might want to call it a Wharncliffe. Let's call it a sheep's foot blade. We've got a flat grind. We've got a chamfer up there that makes it a little bit thinner. It looks better with the chamfer, but I wish that it wasn't there. I wish that it was stayed thicker the whole way. I think that just gives a little more grip for, you know, control at the tip. I used it better without the lanyard. I didn't like the lanyard. It got in my way, but for some people you might want the lanyard, but I just used it without, and I could just get my thumb in that hole, you know, the tough part of my thumb, the center right there. And then, you know, I could either hold it like that or hold it like this. And, you know, it worked quite well for me to use the knife that way. Badging on the one side, around the hole it says O-Step Held Design. And here it says Civivi. And I forgot, on this side, yeah, it's on this side. It's just barely etched in there in the steel, 14C28N right there. Little taco sheath. What else is there? I like it. It's a nice knife for very light use. Package opening. You get a loose thread on your clothing. You're going out and your wife finds a little loose thread. Slice it off. Take this out, you know, in the middle of, you know, any kind of occasion. It's not going to threaten anybody, and use it for whatever tiny little task you need to do. And then you're done. It's got a big cutout here to hold it like this. I didn't end up using it like that very much. That wasn't that comfortable for me, but that kind of grip is a little more comfortable. I can't really get it on the screen, you know, for cutting through cardboard. It easily cuts through, you know, almost anything you want on a hard surface. You know, no problem. Plastic. Here's that cardboard I was cutting. Cuts through it just fine. A tiny little piece got caught there. You know, paperboard, you know, like a Kleenex box. Well, Scotty's in Canada. Foam, you know, just cuts very well. You can cut leather with it as well. No problem at all to cut just about anything you want to cut. I like tiny knives. It's got lots of flat real estate there to clamp it into my knife sharpening rig, and I can sharpen it. It's got the slightest bit of belly to it. This end here, the heel of the blade, is sort of wrapped up a little bit. I think whoever sharpened it, you know, over sharpened it. The angle changes right there too. But most of it, it's got a decent angle, decent sharpness, nice and thin. Like I said, 16 thou at that edge. Decent knife. What else do I have to say about it? Nothing. I really like it. Do you have one? Are you going to get one? Do you want the black wash or the satin? Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, cut towards your chum, not your thumb.